Okay, let's give you guys some practice. So in the previous video, I gave you a long explanation of how you should visualize this graph here. So when the coefficient is not 1, you had to visualize it like this: sine bracket uh, 2 and then bracket x minus 45 here. Okay, because by you visualizing it like this, you can start out with your function f of x here equals sine of x, and then you can slowly apply your transformations to get to this here. So here, the next step here, you would do it like this, and then that will give you sine 2x, and then when you're here, because you factor out the 2 here, so you can imagine this as being 2 of a bubble here, and then later on you can simply put in x minus 45. Yeah, so once you're here, you can apply this now, x minus 45, and then that would then give you sine 2 bracket uh, x minus 45. Yeah, so when there's a coefficient of 2 here, or any other coefficient other than 1, you there's no choice but for you to visualize it like this. Visualize it like this: 2 and then x minus. Yeah, you have to get the 1 here, the coefficient of x to be 1. It's okay. It's okay if you have sine x minus 90 here. Then yes, suppose you have this here. Then yes, you can visualize it like this, and then shift everything across by 90, because look at this here. You start out with sine of x, okay, and then your next transformation is f of x minus 90. You see, if you put this into the x here, it makes perfect sense. It would take you to this, because if you put this into the x here, you would get sine bracket x minus 90. But then you can't do it when you have a 2 here, or any other number other than 2, because if you yeah there's no choice but for you to visualize it as this, 2 and then x minus 45, and then close it. Okay, so now it's your turn now. Okay, so here, try and do this one here. Hang on, let me just adjust this. Okay, so try and visualize, try and draw this, try and sketch this graph here. Okay, so start out with your sine graph here. What should you do, or what will this graph look like? Okay, so this graph here is your normal standard sine of x, the period being 360. Okay, well, start out with sine of x. Yeah, so sketch this graph here. So press pause and have a go. Okay, yeah, so rewrite this as this: sine, and then factor out the 4. So it would be this. It would be 4 bracket x minus 90 over 4. Okay. So here, when you multiply this out, it will give you 4x. When you multiply this out, it will give you 90. So this whole thing here is exactly the same as this. Okay. So when it's in this format here, I can visualize it as this. I can start out with my sine of x, and then so I've got a graph here: f of x here equals this, and then I could apply f of 4x. So that would give me sine 4 of x, and then I can apply this transformation nice and neatly. 90 divided by 4. Hang on. Hang on. So 90 divided by 4, 90 divided by 4 equals this: 22 and a half, 22.5. So it's like me doing this here: x minus 22.5 here. So that in effect will give me this: sine. Hang on, sine. Remember, this thing here goes into the x. So it would be 4 bracket x minus 22.5. Don't forget, this thing here, this whole thing here is exactly the same as this, but just written differently. So for us to try and understand this here, we would rewrite it in this form here. And once it's in this form here, we can see that, okay, we're going to squeeze everything inwards by a factor of 4, and then we're going to shift everything up across by 22.5. So let me try and do this here. So us trying to understand this this graph here would be this. Hang on, start out with your sine of x. Now let me put some reference points on here. So this is our sine of x here. So origin, put it here, and 1 period 360 here. So this dot, well, squeezing it by a factor of 4, this dot here should be at the 90. Okay, so hang on. So let me squeeze it inwards here. Bear with me, and then it should be something like this. Me squeezing it in there. Hang on, almost there. Yeah. So there, squeezing it by a factor of 4 there, and then we're going to shift it across by, remember, by 22.5. So 90 is here. Hang on. So 90 is here. So that means. Well, 22. Well, it's going to be around here. If I shift it across 22.5, this is the origin here. I'm going to shift it to around here. Okay. So the origin is here, and then I'm going to try and shift it to around here. Okay. So your graph should look something like this. Here. This would be your answer. Okay.